Welcome back to the program. Thanks so much for joining us. I think we've been having such an interesting conversation with my good friend Darrel Reid, who played for the Broncos and the Colts. D, I know you've had so many injuries in your career. Those hard hits not only hurt other guys, but they hurt the guy giving the hit. We've talked about that. And staying on top of the latest technology to heal your body is really important. And I was recently introduced to Dr. Joel Singer from Park Avenue Stem Cell. And he's doing some amazing stuff with stem cells. And I thought, if I brought the doc in during an interview with you, there might be a synergy here, and I could connect you guys, and maybe he could do some good work on you, because I know you have aches and pains every single day from playing that crazy game we love to watch called football. He has got a cutting-edge procedure he's been perfecting for 10 years, and what he's doing is he's taking stem cells from your own body, and he's injecting them into the spot that you have pain. Tell us about the procedure, and then I don't know, maybe you guys could figure out, I'm sure he's got some aches and pains that maybe need some help.
Well, basically we extract stem cells from the fatty tissue, and the whole procedure takes from start to finish about 2.5 hours. But the part that you participate in is the beginning, where we take the fat. In between, we're actually putting the fatty tissue through a procedure where we then extract the stem cells. That takes about another hour or so. And then we get you back to treat the area that that's bothering you. What's bothering you, by the way?
What's not bothering me?
Well, you had a career-ending knee injury.
Right.
You sacked Ben Roethlisberger on a Monday night in Denver against the Steelers. You came up limping. You played the rest of the season. You wound up getting surgery after the season. The surgery didn't really stick, and you've kind of been in pain ever since. That's your knee. You had both your shoulders scoped.
One shoulder done, but they both bother me.
Okay. And why? Because of the hitting somebody?
The shoulder comes less from hitting somebody than you would think. The shoulder comes from more or less when you have a runner coming at you, and maybe you don't have the best angle on them, so you put your arm out to stop them, and they basically run through your arm. Oh. So if you're trying to arm tackle somebody, and so your arm ends up way back, way further than it's supposed to go, because you're trying to stop them, so you're using all your force to try to stop them, but maybe their force is more than your arm is.
Oh, wow.
So that's where I think most of the arm injuries come from, as opposed to being hit in the shoulder.
When you hit somebody, do you immediately feel pain, or your adrenaline's so pumped that you don't feel it till after the game?
As a football player, and I think most athletes, you're used to being nicked up or being bruised or going through small injuries, that you play through. So then when you have a major injury, if you can play through it, you don't necessarily know how big of an injury it is. A lot of the injuries that we go through affect us later on in life, where we may have not felt it our whole career, right. But then maybe 2-3 years after we're done playing, now you're like, wow, my shoulders bother me, wow, my knees bothering me, wow, my back. You never felt it while you were playing,
sure.
But after you're done playing, after the lights turn off, now everything, you're getting older, your body's not the same, you're not getting any younger, and it starts to deteriorate, and you feel those things a lot more.
Well, yeah, as we age, we lose the capacity to heal ourselves. So if you have an injury that's still lingering from before, right. And it's still there, but maybe not that noticeable, as we get older, we lose that capability to restore that, for instance, a joint or ligament or whatever.
So let's see if you'd be a candidate for stem cell. What hurts?
You know what it is? At night, when I go to sleep, half the night I sleep on maybe my right side. Yeah. I don't ever sleep on my back. I don't think I've ever slept on my back. But half the night I sleep on my right side, the other half I sleep on my left side. And it's because I lay with kind of my arms stretched out underneath the pillow, and then I gotta switch.
He looks so peaceful when he does that.
Because my shoulder, and I guess it's both shoulders, because it doesn't matter which side I start on. Eventually, halfway through the night, I'm gonna switch, because my shoulder starts to hurt. It wakes me up out of my sleep.
Okay, so your shoulders hurt. What else?
My knee's actually pretty good, although I don't run. So maybe my knee, if I actually attempted to run.
You don't run because you can't run because it hurts too much, or you don't run because you don't feel you physically can, or you're afraid to?
It's more of a fear at this point, a fear of, because when I first started to rehab from my initial knee operations, I had a lot of issues and a lot of pain, in my joint. So the fear of having that, going through and having that pain again in my knee, or that pain returning as it was at that point, where it's not there now, I wouldn't want that. So I just avoid it.
A guy who's big like you, who is so used to being able to run and do that, is it hard not to be able to run?
I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's healthy. It definitely takes away from the amount of exercise that I get. But I do. Sometimes I do the elliptical as opposed to running.
But you can't even run with your nephew.
No, I can't. Not too much. Maybe a couple jog steps.
So, Doc, what do you think?
I'll tell you what we would do. First of all, I think we'd treat your shoulders, definitely.
Okay.
And we're going to treat the knees, and we're going to give the rest intravenously.
Okay, now giving it intravenously does what, as opposed to going directly at a body part?
Okay, it goes throughout your body and seeks out areas that are inflamed or damaged.
Okay.
So then they're going to go to those areas as well.
Where do you extract it from?
From wherever you have some extra fat. Where do you have some?
Oh, yeah. Got a lot of that right now.
That could be the most uncomfortable question ever asked on camera
We'll find
from
it, don't worry about it.
How do you think this is going to work on D?
I think he's got an excellent chance of getting a very good result. It sounds to me like, that it's not that bad. If it was that bad, you wouldn't be able to lift your arm up or move your arm. But the pain is probably inflammatory, probably related to, damage inside the joint, damage in the ligament area, and that's going to get better.
Is it just one injection or one time?
One time usually.
And then how long do we wait until maybe we get another one, or how does that work?
What I normally do is I'll see you, if we can, see you every month for about 2 or 3 months. Usually by the second or third month, we're going to see some progress. And if we don't, I give a booster shot.
Okay.
And if this works, whether it works with the booster or whatever, it should work, like his toe will stop hurting him for the rest of his life unless he...
It pretty much heals the area, so
Right.
you're going back to a healed state, which means it's going to feel better, it's going to less pain, but doesn't mean that if you bang it again,
sure. If he damages
injure it again, it's not going to get injured.
But if he re-damaged it, he could come back.
Yeah, get another
and
shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The doctor's wife, Yoko, she went through the procedure, and she was able to go from not being able to barely walk for her knee to running. So I have hope for you. And this is the story that got me, that made me say, I got to hook D up with this doctor, because I know you haven't been able to run. And to me, that's something that's really sad. And so I'd love to be able to run with you, but more importantly, I'd love to see your nephew run with you, and I'd love to have Jack, my son, who adores you, run with you.
It's sad, but I think it's a regular occurrence for former NFL players to be dealing with injuries, former athletes in general to be dealing with a lot of injuries post-career.
See, and that's the thing. Dr. Singer is helping people. It's so amazing. His whole career has been about helping people. Even before becoming a doctor, he figured out he wanted to be a doctor by volunteering at a hospital. And then he has helped people his whole career, including going abroad to help people with cleft palates and all sorts of other things. And when he saw what stem cell could do, he said, oh, I've got to get involved in this to heal people.
And it's amazing because by mobilizing your own stem cells, really all we're doing is mimicking a natural process. But as you get older, that natural process doesn't work as well. So now we're just enhancing that natural process to get you to heal in certain areas. They actually examined the joints, shoulder joints. They did a biopsy in shoulder joints and people that had arthritis in the shoulder. They couldn't find any stem cells. Normally you have your own stem cells in the shoulder. Couldn't find any. The conclusion is you run out of them. You have a deficiency. We put them back in there again, and they start to grow. They keep growing.
Wow, that's phenomenal.
And they enhance, but also it makes the environment for healing much better.
Wow. I think everybody, even non-athletes, you always get that saying where I'm going to feel that when I get older, or I'm going to feel that later, and imagine if you didn't have to feel it later, or you didn't have to feel it as bad when you get older.
We were even talking about, guys who are playing, football right now, getting almost like a preemptive injection, or
Right.
preemptive treatment, because they are hurting themselves, but they
Right.
don't even, like you say, they just want to play. You know,
Right.
it doesn't matter how much it hurts. Hey, I got to get out there, and almost like weekly giving them a shot here and there, or giving them an IV, and that might help prevent a lot of these things that are happening.
You know, D, I mean, in all honesty, when you were in the league, I've seen this firsthand, so please stop me if I'm talking out of school, but after every game, you'd be handed a bag of medicine from the team trainers. I would call them horse pills, to help alleviate the pain. But if you could do something like this while you're playing, you could eliminate all those pills that are probably really not great for you anyway.
I mean, they used to just throw it at us. Like, we used to take it before the game, after the, whether you were hurt or not, you got a Toradol shot. That speaks to what you just said, Doc. I actually knew that I was injured, but I was still playing because, you know, NFL is a very demanding career path, and it's very high turnover. You always got these young guys, you know, that can take your spot at any time. So I was playing through my injury and probably making it worse.
Sure.
And just doing whatever I had to do on a weekly basis, whether it was not practice, whether it was Toradol, whether it was other pills, in order to play in the game every week for the rest of the season.
Yeah, sure.
I think let's see how you do with this. This could be the future, the preventative that he's talking about. It also can help speed the healing process. And as the doctor was saying, correct me if I'm wrong, but there are no side effects to this at all.
The stem cells by themselves
Yeah.
produce no side effects because they're yours.
Right.
They're the same cells you still have in your body.
This is exciting. I'm really excited to see how you do. I'm glad we're going to follow you. So we'll take a quick break, and then I guess when we come back, we'll be with you doing this. How's that sound?
Yeah. Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going, Doc?
Good, Darrell. So we looked at everything. You're in good health, but you're hurting, right? The
Right.
knees and
Right.
the shoulders. Good. You'll show me where it hurts, and we'll do it. We're going to take some fatty tissue from you.
Okay.
Fair amount, maybe about 200 cc's, and so that's going to require some local anesthesia. Once that's done, by the way, you can actually go to another room, you can come up, you can have something to eat or drink while you're waiting for us to process the cells. And then when you're going to come back, we're going to give you an injection into the knees and shoulders.
You're going to be taking the fat out of my stomach, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I need it out of my stomach.
Okay, well then you saved up for it, and that's
I'm
good.
requesting.
It's very safe. We have data on over 7,500 patients that we've taken care of, and it's going to actually help you tremendously. We know that large doses of stem cells injected into joints, they grow, they multiply, they create a new environment inside your joints, and this will give you relief, and it will actually improve your health in general. So
Okay.
this is a good thing. You all set?
I'm ready.
Okay,
All
good.
right.
Okay, good.
All right.
We're ready.
Is it good? Is it still gonna work?
We got plenty here.
Oh, plenty. I was hoping we wouldn't have to show that.
We're gonna go from here, and then we're gonna go up to here, and up to here.
Okay, so I'm gonna prep the area.
You didn't even warn me that it was going to be cold or nothing. Just ruined my whole drunk feeling just now. Like,
A little pressure here. That's what this is. A little pressure. That's a local anesthetic going in, okay? Try to make this as gentle as possible. This side you shouldn't feel much at all.
so I got basketball practice tonight at 7. Am I good to go?
All right, we're doing the enzyme right now. This is what we use to help us get the stem cells out. And we're getting some nice looking fat. Okay,
So that's fat.
that's fat.
Hopefully I'll be down like 10 pounds today.
We're doing a double dose. Normally we just get one syringe. So we're doing 2 syringes. We're going to get twice as many stem cells, and then we actually double process it to get about 50% more. So we usually get 100 million cells, which which is a good number. Okay, so at this point, I think we're pretty much all set. We're gonna put a bandage on Darrel, and then he can go have some lunch. So that's what it looks like when we spin it down. See, the rest of that's excess liquid that we don't need, but there is part of that liquid that has actual stem cells in it. That has as many stem cells in it as a whole sample of bone marrow does. So now she's actually taking unfiltered stem cells. Then we put it through a filter, and those are ready to be injected stem cells. We have 8 syringes filled with stem cells. We calculate this as over 100 million stem cells. So we're gonna start an IV, and this is actually the first batch. We're gonna use that mostly to inject the joints, and we're gonna give all these IV. So what we're gonna do is get PRP first. When we inject the joints, we're gonna add the stem cells and the PRP at the same time. It works better that way.
And what's this?
Getting stem cells IV. Now we gotta work on your knees. It shouldn't be too bad. You should be able to get in here. Is this where you get pain?
Yeah.
That's where I'm gonna get into the joint. Okay. You've gotten your 60 million or so stem cells IV, and we've got about 80 million or 70 million more cells we're gonna put in your joints. Let's see if I can get in the joint easy.
I hope so.
I hope so too. Usually I do. Now, that needle is in the joint because it's the perfect length for me to know exactly where it is. So first I put the stem cells in. Here, I'm putting enough fluid in. It's gonna go all around your whole knee joint. Okie dokie, I think we're good. Now, let's address the shoulders. Okay, we are done. Good job. I'd like for you to come back in about a month. We're gonna kind of measure how well you're doing.
Right.
And if you're seeing real improvement, then we just don't have to do anything.
Right.
If it's kind of like not much or nothing is happening, another shot of PRP is gonna work. The way I look at it is you got more than enough cells right now to heal.
Okay.
But it does take time, usually sometime around, you get your maximum around a year. I'm certain that friends of yours or people you know that are still playing are getting stem cell shots just to keep them in the game, because a lot of it, a lot of injuries are not serious enough to require surgery or anything like that, but they hurt.
Well, Doc, don't be surprised if I come back in a month and I got a line of guys like, listen, fix me too. Not too bad, not too bad, not too bad. We'll see when, 4 weeks, how I feel. He said I'll, feel a little bit more pain tomorrow when the numbness wears off, but especially if it does what it's supposed to do, definitely well worth it.
This Sports Spotlight presented by Park Avenue Stem Cell. Visit parkavenuestemcell.com and stop living in pain. Call 844-903-7275.